All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for popping on, and thank you to all of you who jump on at any time. But if you catch this replay, if you're not on with us live and you catch the replay, thank you so much for your time. What I would like to do, and I will come back later and post it in, let's see. I want to post right here in the chat on Zoom the link to the Google Doc that we're going to be looking at today and kind of going through as we do this harvest blessing. So wherever you are joining us from, as people are popping on here, I just want to let you know what you've got yourself into. So we're going to take time to do a harvest benediction reflection. This is going to be a reflection of this past year, all that we've kind of been through and where we've been. I'm going to change this music up a little bit. What we've been through, where we've been, and then that is going to help us to be able to reflect on where we want to go. Where is the next year taking us? And I am a firm believer in living life on purpose, for a purpose, with purpose. My website is called Beautiful Balanced Living, and in Beautiful Balanced Living, I'm all about helping people build their beautiful. So whatever it is in your life that you don't like the way it looks right now, don't let that discourage you, because you can build your beautiful. And one of the first steps to being able to do that, whether it's a beautiful marriage or a beautiful bank account or a beautiful body, if you don't like your body right now, whatever it is that you're trying to build into being beautiful, just know that you can do it. And it starts with reflection. It starts with self-reflection, being able to know where you are now and where you want to be. So as we look at the coming year ahead, it's important that we take time to just really evaluate, like I said, where we are. So as I'm asking you some questions, there's a lot that we're going to go through. So if you download the guide, if you need it, just drop that in the chat and I'll just keep putting it in there. But and it's on the Facebook group, if you happen to be in the Midlife Mamas group, you can grab it there. And I will also put it in the comments for anyone to in the replay. But it is some pages. And on those pages, it's a reflection that we are going to go through together. We're not going to spend a ton of time on each thing. So what I want you to get in the mind of right now, so that we don't take your whole evening, is I just want you to get into the mindset of fast answers, right? So the first thing that comes to mind, just being able to jot those down. And I will ask the question. So if you can't download the guide, don't worry about it. Just have a pencil and a piece of paper in front of you, and let's just jump in and do this reflection on this past year, this 2021 year that we have all just lived, survived, thrived in, wherever you fall in that. Yeah, I should have made Melissa a co-host so she could be letting people in for me. I just see people coming in to admit. But okay, what I would like to do right now is share my screen so that you can see this reflection. So I figured this would help for anyone who maybe didn't have an opportunity to download it ahead of time. So, okay. So can everybody see the Harvest Benediction Reflection page right now? Okay, great. So if you have this printed out or you're using it in your in an iPad or something like that, or up on your computer, you can go ahead and fill in the year that we're reviewing right now. But I wanted to leave this blank so that you could do it either several times throughout the year to kind of get a go, or every season between Thanksgiving and Christmas, as we are wrapping up the benediction, meaning the end, or the end, the finale, the final scene of the year, and what you are going to be moving into for the year ahead. So that's where I have that year in review. You can fill in the year that we're in. And then here is your weather report for the year. So if you could circle one of those, was this a sunny year? Was it partly sunny? Was it partly cloudy? Was it thunderstorms, or was it just a full-on storm this whole year? What was this year for you? And I would love for you to just be able to circle whichever one just quickly comes to mind. And then I'd like us to go through the most memorable standout moments of this past year for you. Just whatever comes to mind. You can just do it in a sentence, or you can do single words. Boom, boom, boom. Most standout moments. And while you are writing, I will try to give you quiet time in between, but welcome, Rachel. Thanks for popping on. So those of you who may be just hopping on live on Facebook, or you're jumping into the Zoom, we are going through a year in review, and we are just going to do kind of bullet points on all of these things. And then you can go back and take time to reflect more thoroughly over the next 30 days or so as you gear up to look at the year ahead. We want to be able to know where we've come from in order to get there. So this is something I really think is important for us to take a moment to look at. The nicest thing someone did for you this past year. What's the nicest thing anyone did for you? And then the other side of that is the nicest thing that you did for someone else. And what is maybe a new hobby or a passion that you found this past year? I know when we talked about what pandemic blessings look like, for a lot of people, it's new hobbies, new passions, new exciting things, new simple things. Like for me, I found a love for jigsaw puzzles, and I never ever would have thought that would have been a thing. And now I just really, really enjoy them. So that's a new hobby or a new passion that I found. And then who has had the biggest impact on your life? I'm going to drop this guide in the chat on Zoom again. Yeah, there we go. Let's keep going. This is kind of a page of maybe some regrets or some things that we want to really take a look at. Things that you regret not doing over the past year. What do you wish you'd done, but you just didn't? Someone commented that this exercise might make you cry, and that's perfectly acceptable if it does. Tears can be very cleansing. They can be very healing. And I will admit, I shed my own whenever I do this reflection. Forgiveness. Is there forgiveness that you need to give to someone who hurt you, or that perhaps you need to seek from someone else? And is there an area in your life that you need to forgive yourself? Equally important. Bad habits that you might need to let go of. Did you pick up some bad habits this past year? Binge watching TV shows, for example. I think for us, one of the bad habits that we may need to let go of is I don't remember the last time we ate at our dining room table. We've gotten in the habit of using that as TV time. I do not want to keep that habit moving into the new year. So that's something that I put down in mind. And then along those same lines, what are some messes that you might need to clean up, figuratively or literally? Is there an area in your home that every time you walk by it, it gives you anxiety? Is there a drawer? Is there a closet? Is there something in your life, literally or figuratively, that you need to clean up because you just don't want to take it to the new year? Don't want to do it. And again, as I mentioned, we are going to move through these kind of quickly, but hopefully you can grab this guide and go back if you need to, or rewatch the recording if that is something that you're able to do. So those of you who know me well know that I am a certified ULA life coach, and we believe very strongly in balancing the 7 key areas of life. And it's what I work with clients on, as well as my fellow coaches, some of them on here with me tonight. It's important for us to look at 7 key areas. I used to only focus on 1 or 2 in my life, whether it be my fitness goals or maybe my spiritual goals or whatever it is. But in ULA, we like to balance the 7 key areas, and that makes us well-rounded, number 1, but it helps to elevate our whole life, which is a beautiful thing. So hopefully that makes sense. So based on the 7 F's of ULA, which is our faith and our family, our finance, fitness, friends, fun, we can't forget that, and field, which is our work. I'd like to look at that from the whole concept of harvest, of planting seeds, tending soil, and let's take a look at that. So tending the soil, what are things that you did to benefit your health this year? What are some of the ways that your faith grew this year, or your connection with your family, your relationship with your family grew this year? What are some financial wins that you may have had? Did you manage to bring more money in this year, or did you manage to spend less money this year? Did you get into a new budget, perhaps? Did you sell a whole bunch of stuff on Facebook Marketplace like I did to earn money to reach some of the goals that you may have? Not everybody did the same things that we did, but our family decided that we wanted to be debt free and we wanted to be able to send our son to the college of his dreams. So we sold our house. For those of you who don't know that, we sold our house and we live in an apartment now. And I'm so thankful. That is definitely a harvest in our life. So thankful that we made that decision. It is beautiful and freeing for us. Now, that could bring anxiety for someone else, but that's one of the things that we did. And that was a harvest for us. Did anybody start a new job in or out of the house? Maybe you decided to homeschool this year. Maybe you started a side hustle or a side business, became an entrepreneur. Perhaps you became a coach. Whatever it is, this would be the place for you to put that in there. Lisa, welcome. Let me drop this guide one more time into the comments of the Zoom chat in case you'd like to grab it for yourself and write on it. I put everything on my iPad, so that's how I do it. Just taking a look at what this last year has been to us. Weeding and fertilizing. Relationships are some of the most valuable teachers that we have in our lives. And so it's really important that we can see those relationships for who they are and how they are in our lives. So are there any new relationships, and what's the greatest value that that relationship has brought to you in your life? Are there any relationships that had to end? and why? This can be really painful for some people when you look at this, especially if it was a friendship or a marriage um, that ended, and being able to face that and recognize that and understand it. Um, Sometimes the things of the greatest adversity in our lives, it has been said that adversity is one of the greatest gifts wrapped in the most unattractive paper. Um, so being able to see the value of relationships either beginning or ending in our lives, even though it can be very difficult at times. Hopefully that made sense. But as we continue our personal reflection, what are some of the fun things that you did this year? Some of the adventures you had? Did you go anywhere special? Did you do anything different that maybe you hadn't in the past? You know, for me, I don't know if you'd consider it an adventure, but I do. Driving out to Melissa's and putting my feet in the creek next to her. And her and Rachel and I just talking about life and starting a Feet in the Creek podcast or vlog, I guess I should say. For me, that was an adventure, and I love it. And this year, perhaps more than any other year, maybe 2020, but 2020 and 2021, where didn't you go? My poor son was supposed to go to 8 new countries in 2020. He went to 0 new countries. This one, this is an important one here. Not that they're not all important, but what was your biggest time waster? Was it social media? Was it procrastination? Was it television? What was it? And what is something that this year taught you? What lessons have you learned? If you are someone who's popping in live on Facebook on my main page, welcome. We are doing a Harvest Benediction reflection. We are looking at what this past year has been so that we can decide what we want the next year to be. Was this a great year? Do we want it to be more of the same? Or do we have some work to do? Do we have some more weeding and tending and fertilizing to do in our soil? What seeds do we want to plant to grow next year? And the best way to look at that is, how did your garden grow this year? And what was the harvest that was brought out of it? Are you happy with that harvest? Or do you want more? Do you want different? It's living life on purpose. So as we look at some more things to reflect upon, let's look at some purchases that you made this year. Purchases that you might regret, either making or not making. Kind of along those same lines, what in your life no longer serves you and they will not be joining you in the new year? It's not coming. You've decided, boom, not going to happen. Is there something in your life that is making you angry? Anger can become an obsession if not dealt with. It can occupy our thoughts, along with the regret that we talked about above it. Regret and anger can take a lot of our time away from us, a lot of our heart, a lot of our joy. So it's important to acknowledge it. Is there anything making you angry in your life right now? And then next to that, who needs to be acknowledged? Is there someone in your life that you need to acknowledge has made a huge impact this past year in your life? Maybe it's something that they did and they have no idea how it affected you and how it impacted you. Maybe it's someone that you've seen grow in ways that you're just like, wow, I'm so proud of that person, you know. Just put their name in that block and come back later and find a way to acknowledge them, whether it be with gratitude or with a shout out or with a phone call or whatever it is. And I swear I didn't plan on this, but You Raised Me Up is playing while you're thinking of people that you want to acknowledge. I think that's like divine. What are 3 words that you would use to describe yourself? And if you think that other people would describe you with those same words, put a star next to it. Now, here's where the big challenge comes in with that one, friends. If you didn't put a star next to it, why would someone not describe you the way that you see yourself? Is it because people don't really truly see the real you? Or is it because you describe yourself in a way that no one else would? You know, there's that, we've all heard the saying, you know, treat others as you would want to be treated. And I always think, oh man, if I treat others the way that I treat myself, I'm not going to have any friends left. So really focusing on those words that described yourself. Are they truth, or are they perhaps you being hard on yourself? And along those same lines, what are your greatest strengths and your greatest weaknesses? It's important to know both. All right. So we all know that with a good harvest, we need to have several things, right? The weather affects the harvest in an amazing way. For those of you who are essential oil users like myself and a few of the other ladies that I can see on the screen right now, we know that, like a bottle of lavender, for example, that has all of these wonderful properties that help us in many, many ways. Our bodies cannot build up a resistance to the benefits of that essential oil because every bottle is just a little bit different, depending on how much sunshine it got, how much water and rain it got, how well it was tended. So it's really kind of an incredible thing when we see, let me see just what happened here with this. We're going to go back to here. Sorry, I got a little squirreled with this music. Okay, so we know that we can't build up a resistance because it changes. It's a little bit different depending on the sun, the weather, the storms, the how cold it got, how warm it was, and so on and so forth. And I love, like the view of the sunflower. It's why I chose the sunflower as kind of a theme that weaves through this reflection, because the sunflower always turns to the sun. And as a person of faith and a missionary, that's an important aspect of all my life, is to continually to look to the sun. Only for me, it's the SON, not the SUN. But as we're thinking in terms of harvest, the weather truly affects it. So what I'd like you to do with this next page is I'm going to give you a minute or two to just really evaluate how the weather has affected your harvest in these different areas, because we need to know that what needs to be cultivated more and have more care put into it for the coming year so that you can have a more bountiful harvest moving forward. This is truly the goal of this reflection, is because it is a passion of mine to help others to have more beautiful harvests, a more beautiful, fruitful blessings in your lives. And so helping people evaluate where they are is an important part of that. Right. So here's our weather again, our little barometer again. Only this time I gave them number values so that if you are someone who is more of a mathematical person rather than a visual person, you can put a number on the line on the end. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5 being this area of my life is sunny and bright and beautiful. As you go down the line, it's, mostly good. And then it's half and half, sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes sunny, sometimes cloudy. 2, man, the storms are coming on and off, thunder, lightning. 1 is, it's just a storm. It's gray, it's dismal, it's raining, it's cold, it's yucky, whatever it is, that's a number 1. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. If you have questions with that, let me know. Just drop any questions in the chat if you would like. And I'll try to look at that. But these are the areas of your life that I want you to give a weather report for. While you're doing that, I'm going to look and see if we have any comments on Facebook. And again, these are first impression, first thing that comes to mind, honest weather report. And for those of you who might just have joined us in Facebook or on Facebook, we are doing a harvest benediction reflection. We are taking a look at different areas of our life and how the seeds have grown over this past year in these different areas. And right now we're looking at the weather report because the weather is a huge factor in our harvesting. I always picture that Little House on the Prairie episode where Laura she's married and I don't know why she's alone, but you might remember this episode, but she's trying to save the harvest. They've had a drought and she's trying to get water out, and she gives each little plant just a little bit of water, trying to save the harvest because there'd been no rain and it had just been scorching. And I think she was pregnant and it was awful. And you're watching her carry these buckets out with a little drip of water, and in the end, I think it was a disaster. Like, she lost her whole harvest and it was devastating, right? So that's why it's important for us to look at that's why Little House on the Prairie has taught us that is why we need to look at these different areas of our lives and take a forecast so that we can make sure that they don't get destroyed, any of these areas, which are so important to who we are and where we're headed. And at the end of all of this, if you changed nothing for the coming year, if you stayed exactly the same, did all the same things for the coming year that you did this year, what would your forecast be? Would it be sunny? Some sun? Partly cloudy? Or would you find yourself in the midst of a storm? Like a life-threatening tropical storm, right? Where would you be? What's your forecast? What's your future outlook? And obviously, if you did the mathematical version of this with your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you will have a number that you can put down here in this little circle-ish on the line with the blob behind it. The higher the number, the better your forecast. So I would love it in the chat, whether it's in the comments on Facebook or here in the chat on Zoom. I would love for you to let us know, how is it going for you? What is your forecast for the coming year? Is there anything that you are taking away from this experience of looking back at our year, this review? Anything that you know you want to change for the coming year? Yeah. Lots to change. Someone said lots to change. This was a tough year. It's one of the reasons I wanted to do this exercise with all of you, because I know for a lot of people it has been a tough year. I watch my friends and my family on Facebook and where they are and some of the things that they've come through and the ups and the downs. And I think I want everyone's forecast to be mostly sunny. I'm not going to say that life will always be without storms, but are we learning? What are we learning from the storms that are in our life? And how are those things going to help us as we move forward? Those gifts in an unattractive packaging, which is those things in our life that we come up against. Jan says she started making some changes this year, but I need to keep motivated to mostly sunny forecast. Yeah, mostly sunny. That's where I want to be. My good friend Sherry just sold her house in Rhode Island and moved to Florida. And like every day she's posting pictures of her, oh, where do you want to go to dinner? Oh, let's go to Disney for dinner. She's always on her front porch watching fireworks. I love you, Sherry, because I know you're going to be watching this. But it's that forecast, and it took a lot of hard work and decisions and tears, and it was hard to make that move and to leave your state, leave your friends, leave your family, and make that move. But Sherry's also passionate about living differently, like I am, like some of the other ladies on this in the Zoom with me right now. And those of you who see this on Facebook, I'm just thinking of a friend of mine from high school, Becky, who recently made so many huge changes in her own life. I'm just so proud of her. And I love to see that and to celebrate. And she's one of those people on my list of, hey, who do I need to acknowledge? Who do I need to celebrate with, right? Some changes are necessary, Rachel says, finishing things for herself, mostly Sunny. Yeah, finding the joy. So if you watch this reflection and it did bring tears to your eyes, or you will go back and you work through this worksheet with honesty in your heart, with a good, clear view of what this year has been for you, and there's anything on there that hurts you, that you want to make sure that you don't take into the new year, or things that you want to change, but you have no idea how, I don't want you to have to stay stuck. I want you to be able to thrive in the coming year, overcome obstacles. We are really, really big in ULA about dreams. So at the end of this week, I'm going to be heading to ULA Palooza, which is our company's biggest event of the year. And I could not be more excited for it. It's going to be a beautiful time. But what I would like to do is be able to take your dreams with me and put them on the bus. So I want to share with you first, then we'll talk a little bit more about the dreams. How can you ensure a bountiful harvest in the coming year? Well, I know for me, I personally need accountability. I can't do it alone. So I get coached. Last year, I ended up with a nutrition coach and a fitness coach. When we were in the whole big process of, I got COVID, and then we sold our house and sold our parents' house, and there was all this moving going on. I let those coaches go for a time. I will be getting right back into that as I'm looking into the 2022 year, because it was so powerful and so effective. So whether you're going to hire a coach in the area that you feel that you need the most improvement or the most help and accountability, I highly recommend that. Or if you want to work at all 7 key areas to bring a balance, a beautiful balance into your life, then you want to work with a certified ULA coach. It can be me, or it can be one of the other coaches. And I just really do encourage you to connect with any ULA life coach that you know. And if you don't know a ULA life coach, I'm here to help you. There are others on this page as well who are ULA life coaches as well. You can follow the link that's up there, carryford.com. That's going to take you to my website, which is Beautiful Balanced Living. And there's some more free resources there that you can take advantage of. There's a gratitude journal and a mindset challenge on there for you. Free, everything's, free. Book a call. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about what your goals are. Let's talk about what your dreams are. Don't stay stuck, right? We don't want that for you. Also, we have this kick butt digital platform that many of us are using. It is called the Year of Transformation, or the ULA Pocket Coach, as we like to call it. And so if you have an ULA ambassador in your life, get with them and they will give you a link so that you can go ahead and get that digital platform. If you just want that accountability in the palm of your hands, it's really a kind of a cool thing. I'll do this. I'll show it to you after we stop sharing the screen here. But if you don't have an ULA coach or an ULA ambassador, that's okay. I've got you. You can just follow this link right here, which is myula.ulalife.com/carryford. And I can help you with that as well. If you're not sure who your reference would be, or who your ULA coach or ambassador is, just let me know. We'll talk about that and figure that out. And if this was beneficial to you and you got something out of this and you want more experiences like this, go ahead and text me at the number on your screen. It's a toll-free number. So for those of you who catch this replay in other areas, you can go ahead and use the toll-free number. It's 855-798-0869. And if you want to attend my goal setting workshop in December, go ahead and text that number, the word goals. If you would like to partake in the 28-day reset that I'm doing with Sherry and another coach, starting in January, if you want to kick your 2022 into thrive mode, you're going to, it says test, you're going to text the word 28. Okay. If you want both, you want to attend a goal setting workshop with me and you want to do the 28-day reset with me, go ahead and just text crush it. Okay. And then I will be able to send you the information that you need to continue. Oh, someone just did that. All right. Stop sharing right there. I want to thank you so much for coming on and spending this time with me tonight. I hope that you will go back and take a little bit more time to go through and evaluate on some of those questions. I know we're just kind of flying through, right? But it's really important. And I did want to show you, this is the, we're not gonna be able to see it. This is the ULA app, where we are able to go through and we have an app where we can crush our goals. And I don't know why it logged me out, but there you go. So I'm not going to show it to you right now. But in there is a place where we go and we can do our daily goal setting. We can put our to-do list and our goals in there, and we can have breakthrough experiences. There's video content, there's training, there's community, there's inner circles. It's really kind of an incredible thing. So I really would encourage you to do that as step one, you know, and if you find that you need more personalized time in training and coaching, then you get an actual personal coach. And it's a really powerful thing to help you reach your goals and get to the next place where you want to go for your 2022, because we want your harvest to be plentiful. There you go. Melissa's got it. Hold that up again. It's really cool. It's got your badges. It keeps track of how many action steps you've taken. It keeps track of how many action steps are taken in our whole global community. And we are all in this particular ULA lifestyle. We are on a mission to impact 1 billion lives in 7 years. And it is a beautiful thing. So if you're already on this and on this mission with us to affect 1 billion lives, transform 1 billion lives in 7 years, go ahead and type that in the comments or in the replay if you're catching the replay. And if you haven't done that yet and you want more info, just let me know. But more importantly, most importantly, take time to evaluate where you have been. And again, I am going to, one last time for anybody who joined on Zoom, that is the link to the document that we went through together. And I will go back in as soon as I finish up in here and post it on Facebook as well, so that you can grab that document and go through this whole thing at your own pace. I do recommend putting some Zen music on in the background. Or download Called to Glory by Carrie Ann Ford on iTunes. And you can listen to that as you go through. But thank you so much for being here. And again, if you have a big dream in your life, something that's just on your heart, it makes your heart beat faster, it makes you excited, it's something you're passionate about, do not let the how you will achieve it stand in your way. Instead, name it. It's the first step. So tell me what that goal is so that I can put it on a sticker and take it and put it on the ULA bus. The ULA bus is on tour right now. And by the end of the week, it will be in Nashville. And so will I. And Rachel's below me right now on the screen. Rachel will be there and maybe some others. but it would be my honor. The bus looks a lot like this. It would be my honor to put your dream on that. Right now, there are 27 layers of dreams on that bus, and mine is on there from years ago. And it is an incredible thing to see what has happened in life since putting that dream sticker on the bus. So I would be honored to put your sticker on the bus. And so all you need to do is message me that number that we put on there, just message me that dream, or just get with me on Facebook and send it to me a messenger, and I will write it on a sticker and take it to Nashville at the end of the week. So thank you again so much. Those of you here with me live, those of you who catch the replay, you know I always appreciate your time. Let's build lives on purpose, with purpose, for a purpose. We're going to build our beautiful. Take care, everybody. Thanks again.